What happens when a woman finally stops chasing? Have you ever wondered what happens when a woman who used to text first stops? When the woman who always checked in goes quiet? When the woman who fought for the relationship, explained her feelings, gave endless chances, and kept trying to fix everything, finally decides she's done chasing? Because the most powerful shift in a woman is not when she starts fighting harder, it's when she stops. And sometimes that silence says more than 1,000 arguments ever could. There is a moment in many relationships where a woman reaches a point of emotional exhaustion, not because she stopped caring, but because she cared for too long without feeling cared for in return. Psychologists often describe this as emotional withdrawal, a stage where someone stops investing energy because their mind has learned that their efforts are not creating the connection they hoped for. And what makes this moment so powerful is that it's usually invisible at first. There is no dramatic goodbye, no huge fight, no final speech. Sometimes she just becomes different. The messages become shorter, the questions disappear, the arguments stop, and the person who once begged to be understood suddenly becomes someone who no longer needs to explain herself. But why does this happen? And what really changes inside a woman when she stops chasing? Imagine a woman named Sarah. For months, Sarah was the person keeping the relationship alive. She planned the dates, she started the conversations. She noticed when something felt wrong. When her partner became distant, she didn't walk away. She tried harder. She thought, maybe if I communicate better, things will change. Maybe if I love him the right way, he will finally see my value. So she gave more patience, more understanding, more chances. But something slowly started happening. Every time she reached out and received less in return, her brain started making a painful connection. I am putting energy into something that is not giving energy back. And eventually, the same person who once feared losing him started fearing losing herself. That is when the chasing stops. The interesting thing about chasing is that it often creates an unhealthy emotional dynamic. One person becomes the pursuer, the other becomes the person being pursued. The pursuer keeps trying to close the distance, the other person keeps controlling the distance. And over time, the person chasing can start feeling like love is something they have to earn. But healthy love is not supposed to feel like a constant audition. A woman who stops chasing is often not trying to punish someone. She is responding to a realization: I cannot force someone to choose me. And that realization changes everything. The first thing that happens is she becomes emotionally quieter. Not because she has nothing to say, but because she has already said everything. She has explained the same feelings. She has expressed the same needs. She has waited for the same changes. Eventually, repeating herself starts feeling like begging. And many women reach a point where they decide, if someone truly wants to understand me, I shouldn't have to convince them. The second thing that happens is she starts redirecting her energy. The energy that went into checking someone's mood, she puts into herself. The energy that went into wondering, why is he acting different, becomes, why did I accept feeling this way for so long? She starts rebuilding parts of herself she neglected: her confidence, her friendships, her goals, her peace. And sometimes the person who is used to receiving all her attention suddenly notices the absence of it. This is usually when the dynamic changes. The person who was comfortable with her always being there may suddenly feel the difference. They notice she doesn't ask where they are anymore. She doesn't chase explanations. She doesn't react the same way. And this can create confusion, because sometimes people only recognize someone's effort when the effort disappears. But there is an important difference. Missing someone's attention is not always the same as valuing them. Someone can miss the comfort you provided without being ready to give you the love you needed. A woman stopping chasing does not always mean she stopped loving. Sometimes it means she finally started loving herself enough to stop abandoning herself. Because there is a difference between fighting for a relationship and fighting to prove you deserve one. The first comes from love, The second comes from exhaustion. Many people confuse attachment with love. They think, if I cannot let go, it must mean this person is special. But sometimes the hardest person to walk away from is not the person who treated you the best. It is the person you kept hoping would become who you needed. The attachment is sometimes connected to the potential, the memories, the version of them you saw in the beginning. And letting go means accepting that potential is not the same as reality. When a woman finally stops chasing, the biggest change is not that she becomes cold. It's that she becomes clear. She stops asking, how do I make someone choose me? And starts asking, why am I fighting so hard for something that should meet me halfway? Because sometimes the loudest message a person can send is not a goodbye. It is silence. It is stepping back. It is finally choosing peace over proving her worth. And maybe the most powerful question is this: if she stopped chasing you today, would you notice because you truly value her, or only because you miss the attention she gave you?